Hi guys, there really is only two gimbal modes for the Pocket 2 that can be used for walking tour videos, and that is the tilt lock mode and the follow mode, or the pan follow mode. But which one of these two modes to use? There is really no clear-cut answer, as it depends on the situation. Both have their advantages and their disadvantages. The tilt lock mode is fine in many situations if the streets are level. But if you've ever been in an Italian hill town where they've got some steep streets, then the tilt lock is going to fail you pretty quickly. So you want to know more? Then keep watching. Hi, my name is Tim from 40Tech and welcome. I've previously released a video discussing the best settings making walking tours with the Pocket 2, which I will link up here and also in the description. In that video, I suggest some frame rates along with other settings, and I also demonstrated a couple of examples where the tilt lock mode had an advantage over the pan follow mode, and also vice versa. But before we continue, if you're new to the Pocket 2 and you're not sure what tilt lock or the pan follow mode is, then let me first point you towards another video of mine which explains the differences between the modes. And it's going to be up here somewhere, so watch out for that. So I suggest you perhaps watch that first and then come back to this video so that it makes more sense. Okay, let's first have a recap. So for the tilt lock mode, this is going to keep the horizon level and it's going to prevent the gimbal tilt axes from moving up or down, and hence the name tilt lock. So it's not going to actually go up or down, all right? So therefore, if we're walking around the street, round corners, then the actual ground is going to remain pretty level. So this is in contrast to the follow mode, which unlocks the tilt axis, and therefore the gimbal has a lot more freedom to move. Whereas the tilt lock seems like the most sensible mode to use for its ability to keep the horizon level, and this is what we're going to want, it can also become our Achilles heel, and it also has a disadvantage at the same time. Now let me explain why. So I was recently in Italy exploring the delightful hill towns, and I certainly recommend those, by the way. Now of course those medieval hill towns, being on a hill of course, are full of really steep stairs and alleys, and this means that as we start our walk along the slope of the street, the tilt lock mode is going to allow the gimbal to tilt up accordingly as we descend, and also descend of course, and as a result we're going to constantly need to stop and adjust the angle of the gimbal, probably by using the joystick, to be able to get a much nicer view of the street. So this is probably best explained with an example. So in this video here you can see some steps in a typical hill town in Italy. So first we are in tilt lock mode, and as we are going up the steps, then notice that the arch at the top is not fully in view, and we see more of the steps in the view. So the problem with this is if we're not looking down constantly at the Pocket 2 while we're filming, which is often the case, then we could completely ruin some footage of our walking tour. So let's now compare that to using the follow mode, which allows the tilt axis to respond. Now notice as we go up the steps that the gimbal is going to react due to the tilt, and the arch at the top of the stairs remains fully in view. Now this is also the case when we are going down the steps, and I'm sure you agree this is going to be much nicer footage. Let's look at a few more examples. The other disadvantage of using the tilt lock, as I pointed out in the previous video, is that if you would like to show a tall building or something of interest, then you can't just make the camera look up, as it's going to lock the axis. You'll need to stop, either use the joystick to manually pan up the camera, show the building, and then reset it back to the original angle, or swap to the follow mode and then do the pan up, show the object, and then change it back to the tilt lock mode. Therefore, which mode to use depends completely on the situation at hand. If there aren't any steep slopes, steps or tall objects in your walking tour, then the tilt lock is definitely going to be the way to go. But if there are these things, then the follow mode is probably going to be better for you. You're just going to need to watch when going around the corners in your tour and that the horizon doesn't slope too much. Alright guys, so I hope that's helped a lot of people who do walking tours and are unsure which mode to use. The short answer is either, both, or it depends. So knowing the advantage or the disadvantage of each mode will be the key to making better walking tour videos. Of course, if you find this video useful, then check out my other videos, particularly this one here if you haven't already seen it already. And of course, hit that like and subscribe button to see more useful videos like this in future. Alright, take care, and I shall see you soon on another video.